The Rephaim, Anakim, and giant slayers of old. The Rephaim and Anakim. Giants are in mythological tales around the world, from Asian mythology to European mythology. The giant tales I mainly want to speak of here are the stories of the Anakim and Rephaim. It is said in the book of Enoch that beings came from another realm of their own and mated with humans. The offspring of these beings became known as giants. Amongst the race of the giants are the Rephaim, Nephilim, Gibborim, Zamzumamim, and the Imamim. The name Anak equals neck. It is explained in the Midrash, indicating that they wore neck chains heaped upon neck chains, or as the form of a verb, which means to press or force. Some Hebraic texts outside the Bible state that of the three sons of Anak who filled the spies with awe and fear by their gigantic stature, Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai. The first is represented in the book of Numbers. The second and the third made deep furrows in the soil with every step. For example, a Midrash fragment found by Sketcher in a Pentateuch commentary of the 13th century and published by him in Semitic Studies in memory of Alexander Kahut states, the daughter of Anak had gone into the father's garden and taking a pomegranate, which she ate. After she peeled off the skin and cast it aside, then the 12 spies came, and seeing her father were struck with fear and hid themselves under the pomegranate skin. Believing it to be a cave, the daughter of Anak in the meantime came back and seeing the pomegranate skin still lying there. They were afraid lest her father might scold her for lack of neatness. She therefore took the pomegranate skin, which the 12 spies hidden therein, and cast it out of the garden. Noticing the weight added by the men, no more than half the skin had been the shell of an egg. I did a video on the name Abraham and its meaning, stating that Abraham means father of many nations. As stated before, the myth of giants is worldwide. Not only David did have the ability to use a slingshot to roll a devastating critical Dungeons and Dragons style on some of the most horrific beasts known to man. Magical tools and weapons were also used to take down these beings. Giants in world mythology. One legend that sticks out about giants is the European legend of Gog Magog of Cornwall. This story is about a man, Cornelius, the legendary hero of Cornwall. According to Geoffrey of Monmouth, Historia Regum Britanniae, 1135 to 39, he was a Trojan warrior who accompanied Brutus the Trojan, the legendary founder of Britain, to England. Cornelius killed Gog Magog, the greatest of the giants, inhabiting Cornwall, by hurling him off a cliff near Totnes, Devon, is still called Giant's Leap. English giants were believed to be all over Scotland. There are archaeological artifacts such as standing stones, burial barrows, and cairns, and natural phenomenon like rocks and crags in the shape of chairs, desks, and tables that were considered to be the relics of a race of giants who thought to have lived in a certain localities. In Hinduism, the giants are called Daityas. They were a race who fought against the gods because they were jealous of their Deva half-brothers. A giant named Kumbhakarna head was decapitated by Rama and is described to have smashed several buildings and fortifications before descending towards the sea. There are paintings of Krishna slaying Asuras or demons and giants with magical weapons. There are a host of stories about giants out there, from the Bible to the Nordic. Tales of man conquering the impossible, conquering something larger than himself, and also having faith that the bigger they are, the harder they fall. See you in space. Isa. All right, we back, yo. Back in the Alchemist Lab. So we got this new post I did on the Alchemist Lab. It's a pretty good post. I took a couple days to make it, but I want to do some good research on it. Although I'd already got some stuff. I actually learned a lot of things typing this and doing a little bit of research. Some things I didn't even know. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to that. It will be split up in 2 different videos, so you guys can go ahead and check out the video. But there's something I want to show you guys in some videos. I'm just gonna be looking at some videos, some pictures. I might read another article written by somebody else, because when I was doing some research, just like looking for some pictures, I found some stuff, man. It's pretty cool stuff. And yeah, we're going to be looking at some things here. But the cover photo I got for this, I found this on a website called Khalil Collection. It's a museum. They got some cool stuff in that museum. And while I was looking up some Rephaim stuff on the Rephaim, I found this. And this photo, I decided to use it as my background for my blog post. Excuse me. But yeah, get my hair done in the morning, so get this right. But yep, we're gonna go ahead and read this. Not read, but just look at some of the stuff. I might read some stuff again, but we're gonna look at some of the stuff here. I like these type of photos. But I was looking at this. It's like a lot of stuff going on here. It's like a giant, Rephaim. That's what they call them. A lot of them had these pale skin, and just remind, and the smile, big face, all that stuff. But it reminds me of Attack on Titan. We're gonna look at some stuff on that too. Attack on Titan and some other things. Yeah, it was like a plasmic fiery cloud or something, whatever this is around. He has one around his head. Yes. He has one. He has his face covered. Look like he stabbed him in the Achilles heel with a spear, and like he's holding a mace. Well, he probably had the mace to giant. He had this mace thing. Then there's a guy here standing here with a guy with a staff and this 2-pronged sword. I don't know what this is. It's a weird looking sword, but I think it looked like he came out of, they was having like a ceremony or something, and he came out of the woods and the guy stopped him or something. I don't know. But yep, pretty nice photo. We will look at some more photos too. Let's see. The ones I have on here already are, but this is Kumbhakarna. He was killed by Rama, and it says a whole lot of demons was around him trying to wake him up. But it was giant slayers all over the world. Here it is. Kubernicana. You can look at it real fast. Oh man, look at this. They were huge. You know, and if you listen to the story I wrote, well not I wrote, but I typed up. Hell, shit. Knowing what I know about past lives, I probably was there looking at all this shit writing this. Nah, I'm just joking. But it's yeah, this is pretty cool stuff. Like they're like beating him, trying to wake him up. They're like beating him with maces, trying to wake him up or something. What does it say at the bottom? The demons try to rouse the giant Kumbhakarna by hitting him with weapons and clubs and shouting in his ear. So this was drawn in the 17th century. So there's like this dog-faced man over here. I wish I could zoom in a little bit more. Wish it'll let me. But this is from in the British Library. Hold on, maybe. Well, if I download it, you won't be able to see it. But yeah, this is fine though. Some yeah, a lot of interesting stuff going on in this shop. But yep. Then we got the. Let's see. What else do I have in here? Oh yeah, the Cornelius Cornwall. Hold on, let's see. Cornelius. This one, the English giant one. I'm gonna read this one later. Let's see. The English giants ones. Those was a more creepier stories. It was like it's crazy. Hold up. This Cornwall one, Cornelius Cornwall. They say he came from Troy and he had a follower, Aeneas, and he the island of Albion. Trojans crossed to the island of Albion with Brutus, which Brutus named Britain after himself. Cornelius settled in Cornwall, which was inhabited by giants. Brutus and his army killed most of them, but their leader Gog Magog was kept alive for a wrestling match with Cornelius. So I wonder if it says in Revelations, Gog and Magog. I wonder if that's, I don't know, like what, two giants fighting? Gog and Magog? Or Gog and Magog? Is it, or, I don't know. Cornelius was the first of the legendary rulers of Cornwall. Duke of Cornwall appears in the title. Okay. So that's that. What's that photo? You see Gog Magog. Gog Magog is a giant. They got a lot of stuff on this joint. Just right here. It's a giant. The guild hall. It's the two giants right here. Hold up. This is the same. Oh yeah, this is the photo I had. This is a very interesting photo right here. Cornelius and Ananias and them slaying the giants. What's this? Oh, Gog and Magog. Was that a train station? It looks like a train. Maybe it could be a train station. Yeah, Gog and Magog. Irish folklore. Two giants right here. Gog and Magog giving Patty a lift out of the mire. A lift out of the mire. So that's the Gog and Magog. There's another thing. It says right here. It talks about. I want to get into this. The father of the giants and the city of four. And it's a lot of stuff that comes up about cities and giants, cities and giants. And whoever wrote Attack on Titan, like these Japanese mugs be on some stuff for real. Whoever wrote Attack on Titan be on some stuff. Because where was I going? Oh yeah, the cities that it was in, the walled cities. Then people talk about the star forts and stuff. We're gonna get into that later. I was playing a mod earlier of Mountain Blade, the Victorian era. They had star forts and that shit. I was like, whoa. But Maybe that's what some of those walled cities were, to keep some of these things out, you know, and it was in a certain shape for war to keep them out, you know, and certain people. But yeah, we gonna get into some more stuff here. Let's see. Kiryat Arba, the father of giants and the city of four. How the conflation of Kiryat Arba and Hebron created the new mythic character Arba, father of the giants. By Dr. Rabbi Zev Farber. A city named after a giant called Arba. Three separate times, the book. Three separate times, the book of Joshua tells us that the city of Kiryat. There's a book of Joshua. Wait a minute. What? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Duh. Kiryat Arba was named after the ostensible ruler of the city. What does ostensible mean? This is just how I study, y'all. I just got to know what words mean. If I don't know it, I instantly have to look it up. That's how you're supposed to learn stuff anyways. Capable of being shown, proper, or intended to be shown. Outwardly appearing to be, shown to be. Oh, he was just... Okay. A man who was a powerful giant or the father of giants. In all three cases, the information appears in relation to Caleb receipts of the city. So... Damn. So this is kind of what, let me see. Let me show y'all something. Attack on Titan. Giant anatomy. I'm sure that photo will come up. So this is anime called Attack on Titan. Maybe, does it see, it has this diagram. Here it is. This diagram of the different giants and their size. So you can see right here, you know, Titan class, 60 meters. And the wall they had, like this Starfort castle, medieval city they was living in. Check out this anime, y'all. It's called Attack on Titan if you haven't seen it. It's a famous anime, but, you know, for all my 40-year-old, people who not into anime, basically, just check it out. You know, it's pretty good. And what's interesting in that junk is the princess of this city is called Historia, and it's like in an alternative, like World War I era. It's like, shit's crazy. But yeah, we already know World War I, World War II. There was just nothing but the destruction of this and the buildings and all this shit, and a lot of other cover-ups. Yeah. So humans are this size. A 5-meter class is 5 meters of a Titan, 7 meters, 15, and there's the huge colossal ones. Then there are some even bigger than this. So yeah. So just to imagine, we call these 5-meter class giants, but these ones are whole different biology. But anyways, yeah, let's go into back here. Let's see. Caleb is granted Hebron or Karat Abra. The name Hebron was formerly Karat Abra, meaning the great man among the giants. Holy shit. Caleb is granted and proceeds to conquer Kiryat Arba, Hebron. Caleb, son of Jötunn, was given a portion among the Judites in accordance with Yahuwah's command to Joshua, namely Kiryat Arba, the father of giants, Anak. Oh, okay, so it was Anak. Okay, damn, the father of giant Anak. So yeah, so he had to be this tall, and then gigantus skeleton. I think this looks like a 15th century manual. I wish I can see it. Can I see it? Let me see if I can get it. Oh, I can get it. it's probably gonna be small as all crap. Yeah, it's small as all crap, but it says gigantus. I know y'all can't see it on my own thing, but it says gigantus skeleton in monte erice prope drepanum inspiratum inspiratum. That is too small to see. I can't see it. Boccaccio Tefte 200 case, but I think that's the name up on it. I don't even know what it says. Lesson in Latin, or it could be something else. I think, well, gigantic skeleton. That's Latin. Could be Italian. But yeah. Herborn, the city of giants. In this verse, Sheshai, Ahamin, and Telmai. Those are the three dudes I was telling you about. The three descendants of the giants. Depending on what I understood, to collect a singular verse, they are not described as the sons of Arbor or father of the giants. They mentioned this in Arbor. So yeah, damn. Because I read this somewhere else in a encyclopedia. The three sons of the Anak, and those are the three things they saw. The three giants they saw. City of four. The four giants or the four couples. Damn. Samson the demigod. Oh, that's interesting. So he would be named. So somebody like Samson would be a Geborim. This is what a Geborim is. So Geborim is somebody that the heroes of old, like Hercules, Perseus, Achilles. That's a Geborim. Even like Esther, Jehudith, Moses, Geborim, or just human saint, Geborim. But there's different types of Geborim. There's the good ones and the bad ones. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I said in here. Among the race of the giants were the Rephaim, Nephilim, Geborim, and Zemumim and Imamim. So Samson the demigod. I just saw this under here. Holy shit. That's interesting. A minor solar deity, Samson. Samson, Shimshon. That's his name in Hebrew. Shimshon recalls the noun for use of son, Semes, as well as a proper noun. That's pretty cool. And knowing that. A visit from a divine being. Pele, the playful angel. Okay. So yeah, angels can turn you to a Geborim. So yeah. What was I going to show here? Oh yeah, this is Carta. This is the Carta Marina. We're gonna get into this in another video, but it shows all these giant beings, mainly sea creatures. You see right here, there's a giant red lizard thing, snake thing, hurting a ship. Then there's like a giant whirlpool over here. There's so much going on in this map. So much going on in this map. And there's giants over here on water skis. Look like whatever the fuck is going on. Then there's what else we got going on? There's probably not even giants on water skis. Because some of the stuff is like just depicting humans, but you guys gotta know what tell it apart. Looks like a guy over here slaying two giant serpents. What's going on over here? Is water horses, and man, there's a whole lot of sea creatures over here. Where is this? Scandinavia. Oh, Scandinavia. Okay. Oh yeah, Gothia. Yeah, this is Scandinavia. Danish. What else is going on? Big fishes. Just giant fishes in this one. You know, what's over here? What's this? Islandia. Is this Welsh? No, it's not Welsh. I can't tell. It's like the land was so much different back then. Some islands over here. Giant crab with something in his hand. What does he have in his hand? A boat, probably. Oh, it's a man. Okay. They're like chucking some stuff off the boat to get it away from him. What the hell? Where is it? Oh, there it is. They're like chucking this shit off the boat to get away from him. Huh. I don't know what they doing. Oh, it's two people on this one killing this one. What the fuck? Look at that junk. They hooked it with an anchor and like two people on there just killing that junk. Oh, that looks so wild. Then there's like a huge thing over here. It's a crazy ass looking map, yo. A water ox, giant water ox. But yeah, this is the map, Carter Marina. I just want to show this real quick. It has some cool stuff on here. I want to see if it has some. There's a lot of other maps that show giants on there. I just don't know the name of them. I just know this one off the top of my head. What's this? Yep. It's probably so cool to live back in the days. You can just explore, just go. You know? But anyways. Yep. See, Samson, demigod. So this is we're gonna look at some videos. Not too much. I'm just gonna go here. This is a guy. He's showing how Ovid wrote. Ovid wrote of giants turned to landscape by the gods.
Turns around, and at that time it rains. And that's when we had the flood, Deucalion and Pyra. We got lots to work on. Okay, my wonderful inquisitive friends, you want to know about our history? Let's talk about our history. This is what happened, and Hesiod and Ovid specifically wrote about it in Metamorphoses. But you can see, this is red blood, this is tendinous material, which is from the tendon, which is identical to what's in you. Plus, this is the structural part of an arm, which is your muscle and your bone area in the center and so forth, which this was a creature that was turned into a statue. All right, it's extremely obvious what I just showed you. The red fleshy muscle stuff erodes and all rots away, but the tendon is tough as it can be. It's considered calcium CaCO3, calcium carbonates. And they're literally limestone. And when I say they're literally limestone, that's the stuff that's really tough on Earth. And then this turns really into mud. The red fleshy stuff, which has a lot of bloody, oozy sort of sarcomeres, are very, very broken up little tiny bits and pieces. And they go along with the blood and they turn into clay. I personally have this on my property, which is a giant fingertip. That's the fingernail. That's the blood, the vein and artery that supply this. And if you look at the hand of Hercules or something Hercules, there's a fingertip, and you'll see the same blood vessels in there where it's cracked, where it bends over. I think it was a real creature, and a lot of them were real. And they turned these giants into landscape. It says, that's exactly what it says in Ovid, Metamorphoses. Now, that's where the bone was. This I broke off, and it has the fingerprints underneath. I'll show you. And it was sent off for DNA testing. When you break off and you see the blood vessels, you can go up inside the artery and take the blood and send it off. I mean, it's not really like blood. It's more or less of a particulate. But blood is absolutely unbelievably tenacious. It lasts forever. If you think I'm kidding about blood lasting forever, this long I had DNA certified. And I was the one that removed the DNA samples. And I drilled a hole in here somewhere, I think it was right in behind here, up into where the red bloody spot was. I took that stuff, put it in, I was very careful the way I did. I'm not a moron. I just did it correctly. And I sent it off. This one here, it was underneath supposedly was made like in the 1500s. Well, maybe they were doing the 1500s. I don't know, but I can tell you what. This was a giant, and this is kaolin clays, which are your facial skin clays. And it's emitting some reddish biology here and there. And then if you look at the leg, you're going to see there's an arterial area, or, a blood vessel area over here. And wherever you see red and black, it's vein and artery blood. And he's got things growing out of his legs, growing out of they grow out of blood supplies. And, they made these things pretty well to last. I mean, they lasted a pretty long time, but they're starting to deteriorate now. They're falling apart. Okay, my friends, I had a little bit of an idea. I hope it works out. Maybe you people can give me some ideas if this is a good idea or not. I was going to, instead of just me spouting off, here's all the things I think, I think I have a pretty good understanding of the ancient things that a lot of people have dismissed. Now, I don't understand the Bible at all. Very, very little. Although I do believe that there was terrible gods and then there was good gods, and the one I want to find is the good God, and it appears that his son was Jesus Christ. And he came to try to get us out of this mess that we're in, and it didn't work. And some people went the wrong way, most of them, it looks like to me. So anyway, I have a friend that is extremely knowledgeable about every bit of the Bible and all of its implications from the Christian viewpoint, which I have no viewpoint, because I have no viewpoint of this at all. This is all new to me. So don't think I'm a big hero here. I have no idea about what I'm doing at this point. All I'm doing is doing evidence. And then we all go about our own separate ways of thinking. Now, if I just want to find out what was real and what wasn't real. Some of this stuff is kind of scary. I can't deny that at all. I don't want to deny anybody's religion or make them feel bad about what they're thinking or make them feel good about what they're thinking or whatever. I just want to find out reality. And then that's up to you how you deal with reality. But not to know reality, it was a swirling disc, which I believe was semi-flattish, and all of a sudden it keeps swirling into what's crushing it, which is exactly what's happening now. The Earth is being crushed. But back then it was a flat disc, and as it spun, just like the arms of the Milky Way are being bent back, and all of a sudden one day it says, this is just too much pressure for our molecules of water to stay in a vapor. Poof! Turned into a ball. Water gushed everywhere. And because condensation happens just like that. And boom, it turned into a water world. And Noah already had his boat. So God had to know ahead of time. He says, okay, on Thursday it's going to rain like hell because there's just too much pressure. The thing is being... And the same thing, our scientists today don't even have a clue why our atmosphere is the way it is. They think it's a blanket of CO2. Absolutely not. The Earth is spinning within the particles of space, scrubbing just like the tires on the road. 2,700 degrees out here, 80 degrees on its surface. Obviously, it's rubbing. Same thing on the corona of the sun. Millions out here are way out past the sun. On the surface, 6,000, 7,000 degrees. That's scrubbing against all the other particles here. These are particles trying to escape the sun, and they're being forced back into the sun by what it's scrubbing against. That's why it goes millions of degrees. We have so much to discuss. The new school's starting. We're going to start out with the basic. We're going to get into chemistry. We're going to get into our actual creation history. We're not going to laugh at any of this. And we're not going to laugh at anybody who has any opinions
it,
now on anything.
It's another dude. Giants. Why are giants on the South American old maps?
The existence of giants here is confirmed. This was written in a letter to the French Academy of Sciences in 1766 by Dr. Matthew Matty, the Secretary of the British Royal Society. He was referring to the confirmation of giants at the southern end of South America by English explorer John Byron. But reports of giants in this part of the world went back more than 2 centuries. Let's go to raremaps.com and take another look at a map we talked a bit about a month ago. This is a 1544 map of the Americas by Sebastian Munster. In the video last month, we covered the Sea of Verrazano and the story behind its discovery. But there are more interesting features on this map, one of which are the Latin words Regio Gigantum. This translates to the region of giants. This map isn't alone. If we search the term giants, depictions of giants in the same region pop up. Giants certainly don't live here today, so who were these giants, and what happened to them? The first sightings by Europeans of these giants was in 1520 by Ferdinand Magellan and his crew on his circumnavigation of the world. Magellan was killed before making it back to Spain, but his assistant Antonio Pigafetta wrote this: "One day we saw a naked man of giant structure on the shore of the port dancing, singing, and throwing dust on his head. When the giant was in the captain general's and our presence, he marveled greatly, and made signs with one finger raised upwards, believing that we had come from the sky. He was so tall that we reached only to his waist, and he was well proportioned." Magellan named these giants Patagons. While Pigafetta never explained Magellan's reasons for the name, it's been long assumed that pata came from a Portuguese and Spanish word to mean foot, though he may have taken the name from a literary figure in a Spanish novel of the early 16th century. Either way, the name eventually stuck, and the region became known as Patagonia, which is interpreted to mean land of the big feet. Magellan allegedly captured 2 giants to take back to Spain and prove their existence. But like Magellan and the majority of his men, the giants didn't survive the journey, and apparently their remains were disposed of. But it didn't matter if there was tangible proof. The Spanish accounts began to appear on maps. In 1579, Sir Francis Drake's ship chaplain, Francis Fletcher, also wrote about meeting very tall natives on their circumnavigation. Men in height and greatness, so extraordinary that they hold no comparison with any of the sons of men this day in the world. But he claimed that they were quite a bit shorter than what the Spanish had described. He put the tallest at around 7.5 feet in height. Though shorter, these English reports only seem to confirm the giant's existence. Maybe the English just didn't see the tallest of them. Tall natives and what could be described as giants continued to be reported throughout the end of the century. In 1587, English explorer Thomas Cavendish reported giants' footprints in the region, and Cavendish's companion, Anthony Knivet, claimed to have seen living giants that were 13 spans, or 9 feet tall, and a dead body that was even taller. Before the turn of the century, 2 Dutch captains wrote about encounters with these giants. One said they were 10 or 11 feet tall, and another 10 to 12 feet, but only what he called the Turimian tribe were that tall. He stated that the other tribes in the region were of average height. In the 18th century, on-the-ground reports were mixed. Some accounts say that there were in fact giants, while others said that they were taller than Europeans but could not be described as giants. And a couple even reported that they were average in height. Patagons continued to be labeled on maps in the 18th century, though their depictions as giants on maps became less common, which can probably be attributed to style changes. But here is one from 1752 with an image drawn outside of the map itself. In 1767, an account of British naval captain John Byron was published. In it, he confirmed their existence, and alongside it was an image of a family of giants with a member of his crew offering them a biscuit. This account is why Dr. Matthew Matty wrote to the French Academy of Sciences that giants here is confirmed. He went on to write, "Between 400 and 500 Patagonians of at least 8 or 9 feet in height have been seen and examined by the company of one of our ships just returned from a voyage around the world." And this letter was published in the London Chronicle for all to see. But soon after, one of France's most prestigious scientific journals published a claim that the British had made the whole thing up to distract from the mercenary purpose of England's ships off the coast of Argentina. And in 1773, another book was published that includes accounts of famous explorers of the day, which included John Byron. It turned out, Byron's before published accounts were nothing more than rumors. Byron officially stated, "One of them, who afterwards appeared to be a chief, came towards me. He was of a gigantic stature, and seemed to realize the tales of monsters in a human shape. If I may judge of his height by the proportion of his stature to my own, it could not be much less than 7 feet." In 1767, another British naval officer, Captain Samuel Wallis, took measurements of his own, but instead of estimating, he brought with him a measuring rod to Patagonia. The tallest man he measured was 6 feet 7 inches, but he reported most were between 5 feet 10 inches and 6 feet tall. In a 1774 book, a Jesuit missionary named Thomas Faulkner, who spent almost 40 years amongst the tribes of Patagonia, mentions a chief 7 feet and some inches tall. And he also states, "The Patagonians are a large-bodied people, but I have never heard of that gigantic race which others have mentioned, though I have seen persons of all the different tribes of southern Indians." For most, these 3 accounts put an end to the belief in Patagonian giants. It is now thought that these accounts were describing the Tehuelche Indians, who are native to the Patagonian area of Argentina. At an average height of 6 foot or 1.8 meters at the time, to the average European, the natives would have certainly seemed large. Europeans were only 5 foot 5 or 1.6 meters on average, though the term giants may have been a bit of an exaggeration. If giants did exist in the region, they probably would have been wiped out by disease or genocide, but no archaeological evidence that they existed has ever been found, nor was any evidence brought back to Europe, despite alleged attempts. The most likely explanation for there not being any giant sightings in the modern era, and what started the myth to begin with, was published just 100 years after Magellan's circumnavigation. Sir Francis Drake's nephew wrote, "Magellan was not altogether deceived in naming them giants, for they generally differ from the common sort of men, but yet they are nothing so monstrous or giant-like as they were reported, there being some Englishmen as tall as the highest of any that we could see, but peradventure the Spaniards did not think that ever any Englishman would come thither to reprove them." Thank you RareMaps.com for supporting this video. RareMaps.com is an online antique map shop with over 10,000 authentic antique maps in their inventory. These are original maps, not reprints. By purchasing one of these maps, you'll really own a piece of history. And as you saw in the video, in their inventory, they have maps with depictions of Patagonian giants. Again, that's RareMaps.com. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all for watching.
Alright, that's it, y'all. Well, hope you guys got something out of that. And go ahead and check out the website. I got some more stuff coming up on here. I got another post coming next. And yeah, hopefully you guys got something out of this. And until next time, see you in space.